Hi, Professor. We are Team Nirvana in the MarkStrat Alpha world. I'm Kieran,
Crystal,
Elsie.
and today we're going to be talking about our introduction and strategy, what we did for our first strategy and our second one, and Nirvana overall. Then we'll go into the different 8 periods and what we did and what happened. And then we're going to talk about Nirvana's future, what we would have done differently. So let's talk about the intro and strategy. So Nirvana is a company in the MarkStrat world, currently working with 2 Clinite products, Nice and Nine. The brand Nice ranks highest in characteristics of pleasure and packaging, whereas Nine ranks highest in packaging, usability, and pleasure. Our first strategy when we began in period 0 was to target medium income families with the product Nine, and then eventually transition into the singles target market in period 3 because we saw that there was going to be a potential for that in the practice round. And then our other strategy was to target the affluent families and high earners with the product Nine because it had higher matching characteristics with what they were looking for, and it costed more to make, so we had set the unit price at a higher level, and they are the less price sensitive. And our plan was to spend about $1,000 in advertising during the first 4 periods to build brand awareness with our target audience. In the second strategy, we used the R&D development to create a new product line and modified the 2 existing products. So the new product line was Night, and it was going to be targeting affluent families. Then we create a modified product Nine to target high earners and align with their values. And we modified product Nice to appeal more to the medium income families. Our hope was to also launch a product called Nope, which is a nutrite, and that unfortunately did not happen, which we'll cover later today. And once our revenue increased, we wanted to be able to spend more on advertising, at least up it by 1,000K throughout the periods. So now we'll talk about the 8 periods, starting with period 0. We began with a revenue of about 42.5K, and then we had a market share at the time of 16.6%. Nice was targeting medium income and singles at about 70 and 72 respectively, and Nine was targeting affluent families and high earners with 73 to 74%. We, at the time, had sold out of our Nice product. That was about 2,500K, and it was sold at 15.20 cents, whereas Nine had left over when we did produce at 1,600, and that product was sold at 2,150.
So moving to our period 1, our result shows that our revenue increased by 22% from around 42,000K to 51,000K. And our firm holds 17 value market shares and 13% of unit market share. And our consumer segments goes to medium income and singles for Nice product, and high earners and affluent families for Nine product. So we set $27 for our Nine product and produce 15,000K, and we set the advertising cost to 2,060K. So we target high earners for 40%, affluent family for 40%. So the top 2 merchandising and commercial channel goes to specialized mass merchandise. We spend 200K on it, and department store, we spend 250K on it. So for the commercial channel, we put 15 staff on specialized mass channel, and we put 10 staffs to mass merchandise channel. So for the Nice brand, we set the price around 15.2, and we produce 4,000K, and we spend 1,500K on our advertising fee. So The medium income goes to 56, which is the largest. Singles goes to 32%, which is the second highest segmentation. So the top two merchandising goes to mass merchandise with 150K and specialized mass merchandise with 250K. So the commercial, we put 20 in our department stores and we set 10 in our specialized mass merchandise. So since market share has increased, we could produce more and spend more on advertising. And in the last period, we have 144K inventory left of 9 products. So we decided to reduce the production by 100K. And in this period, we allocate more money in both advertising and commercial team to raise brand awareness.
So for period 2, our overall revenue increased from around 51K to 56K, and we saw a 15% value market of our share and 12% unit market share. And for this period, we also maintained the same consumer segments we had previously. And for both brands, we decided to maintain the unit price. In terms of advertising and segmentation, for 9, we increased advertising to 2,100. And in this segment, we focused on higher earners and affluent families, which are the consumer segment. And for merchandising, we focused on specialized mass and department stores. And this, we allocated our resources to the same things in terms of commercial. And for Nice, our production unit was 3,500. We spent 1,560K for advertising. And the top 2 segments for that were medium income and for singles. For merchandising, we focused on mass merch and specialized mass. And the same thing, we focus most of our resources into those in terms of commercial. So we had leftover inventory for Nice last period, so we decided to reduce the production for Nice this round. And then this period, we had 0 inventory left for both of the brands. And for both brands, we allocated more merchandising into the 2 top categories where consumers were shopping. For period 3, our overall revenue decreased from 56K to 54K, and we saw a 12% value market share and 9% in unit market share. And we decided to stick with the same consumer segments we had for the previous period. So for 9, our production units this round was 1,700K, and for advertising, we spent 1,360K. Similar to the previous rounds, we decided to keep the percentage of segmentation higher in the same of our consumer segments. The top 2 merchandising for this period were also specialized mass and department stores, and the same with our commercial. For Nice, we produced 4,500 units, and our advertising spend was more, and it was 2,500K. And for top 2 merchandising, we also focused on the same ones we did last round, which were mass merch and specialized mass. The reason for this is that Nice had leftover inventory of 768, so we decided to reduce the production of Nice for the next period to make sure that we don't have too much inventory left over. And also due to the decrease in our market shares and sales, we will be purchasing semantic sales so that we can get a better understanding of how the consumers are perceiving our products.
So moving to period 4, our total revenue decreased by $2 million with around 52,000K, and our value market share went down to 10%, while our unit market share went down to 8%. And we kept focused on the same segments as the brand awareness of each consumer segment has been brought down by around 4% respectively. So we lowered both of the brand in this period with Nice setting to $25.99, and we produced 1,700K for 9 product. So we allocate the same advertising amount to both product with 780K, and the 2 largest segment for 9 brand is high earners with 55%, and affluent families goes with 25%. And the top 2 merchandising is specialized mass merchandise with 125K and department stores with 350K. And the commercial channel is we put 20 in department stores and we put 12 in specialized mass merchandise. So talking about Nice, we lowered the price to $14.99 and we produce 3,500K, which is lower than the previous periods. And for the advertising, we put the same figure here, which is 780K, and the 2 largest segment goes with medium income, which consists of 30%, and singles consists of 60%. So going to the merchandise, we put 250K to mass merchandise and 300K to specialized mass merchandise. And we put 20 in our specialized mass merchandise, and with 12 goes to mass merchandise. So the consumer segment grows in single segmentation. So we increase the advertising budget to this group and remove to target those segments which won't help us raise our brand awareness. So both brands have no inventory at the end of last periods, and we started to lower the price in this period to be more competitive among our target segments.
So overall, this is the impact of our first strategy. After periods 1 to 4, SPI has dropped significantly, largely due to the part that we were unfamiliar with MarkStrat and we didn't really understand how to properly utilize the resources that we had. And this is really evident in the drop of our market share. As you can see, we went from 17% when we first started to 10% by the end of period 4. We focused on revenue despite our customers having a low perception. And this was ultimately the reason why we feel like our market share has dropped. So for period 5, the overall revenue decreased from 52K to 45K. We saw a 7% value market share and also foreign unit market share. And for this one, our consumer segments remained the same as we had for the previous periods. What we did change is that for both 9 and Nice, we decided to reduce the price. And for production for 9, we did 1,520K and our advertising spend was 1,150K. And compared to the other segments where we had segmentation, each of the segments, we decided to focus more on affluent families and high earners, which is our target, so that we can better allocate our resources in terms of advertising. And our top 2 merchandising was specialized mass and department stores. And for our commercial, it was mass merch and specialized mass. For Nice, our production units this round was 3,580K. Our advertising spend was 1,120K. And for this round, we decided to focus 100% of our advertising efforts into medium income. For merchandising, we focused on mass merch and specialized mass. And for commercial, we focus more on department stores and specialized mass. The reason it was behind this is that after we purchased the semantic scale, we reduced price for both brands to better suit our target consumer segments because we realized that we were off of the chart compared to what our consumers were looking for. And merchandising was not perfectly aligned with the sales being made. So we also increased the resources in the respective categories based on where the brand's consumers shop. And 9 had 290K leftover units. So for this round, we decided to reduce production to make sure that we didn't have too much left over. So for period 5, we also decided to do R&D research for Nice, 9, and Night. For period 6, our overall revenue increased from 45K to 70K, and there was a 9% value of market shares and 8% in unit market share. And for the consumer segments, we have changed it slightly with medium income for Nice, high earners for 9, and affluent families for our new brand Night. So for this round, we decided to modify 9 and Nice because it was evidence that even though we had high awareness levels, there was a lower appeal to our consumer segments and we weren't exactly meeting their needs. And we also launched Night to specifically target affluent families, which was previously what we were using to target with 9 as well. And for this round, for 9, production unit was 3,200K. We decided to spend 1,150K. And in terms of advertising and focus everything solely into high earners, which is what we're targeting. And for merchandising, we focus on specialized mass and department stores, and the same for commercial. For Nice, we produced 4,800 units. And for advertising spend, we spent 1,250K and allocating all of our resources into medium income. For merchandising, we focus on mass merch and specialized mass, and the same for commercial as well. For Night, we launched it at $18, and our production units for this was 1,631K. We wanted to first see how the product would launch before we decided to produce any more units. And for advertising, we decided to put this one at the highest advertising spend at 2,000K just because it's a new product and we want to build awareness. And we put all of our resources into affluent families for this. For merchandising, we focus on specialized mass and department stores, and the same for commercial. And the reason is we introduced our new Night brand to specifically target the needs of affluent families. And we also increased our advertising expenditures from 2K to 4K. And this is because we noticed that there was a lot more money that we had that we weren't spending, and we decided to be more bold about the choices that we were making. And all brands increased production, and 9 was the only brand with leftover inventory from period 5 at 2,000 units. And that's why we decided to produce a little bit less of it this round. This is also the period that we decided to take out a $4 million loan. That way we can use the money to be a lot more aggressive with our approach.
So in period 7, our overall revenue increased from 70,000 K to almost 90,000 K, and there is a 11% of value market shares, while the unit market shares goes to 8%. So consumer segments still stick with the medium income for Nice and high earners for Nine and affluent families for our new brand Nine. So we lowered the price of Nine to $20.75, and we produce around 1,900K. And the advertising we set for Nine is 14,000K. And we target fully 100% for high earners. And the merchandising goes to specialized mass merchandise with 150K and department stores with 230K. So the commercial, we put 12 in our department stores and we set 7 to our specialized mass merchandise. So talking about Nice, we still have the same price with $13.50, and we produce for the amount of 47. We produce for the amount for 4,780K, and we spend around 1,100 for our advertising of the Nice brand. And talking about the top two merchandisings, it goes with match merchandise with 200K and department stores with 150K. And the commercial, we set 10 for the mass merchandise with we set 7 for both specialized mass merchandise and department stores. So talking about Night, we increased the price of Night a little bit to $18.3, and we produced 2,400K, and we spent around 2,700K to our advertising of Night brand. And we target for the affluent family for this brand. And talking about the top two merchandising goes to specialized mass merchandise with 225K and 250K goes with department store. And we set our commercial channel 10 for our department stores and 7 for our specialized mass merchandise. So in this round, we use semantic scales to let our product get closer to our target customers. And the new brand Nine has inventory left with almost 2,400K. So we decided to produce just 1,000K in the next round and allocate the rest of the budget to the advertising in order to eliminate the inventory. And in this round, we keep the Nice price as the previous round since the Nice is doing good, and we slightly increase the price of Nice and decrease the price of Nine.
For our last period, our overall revenue increased from 89K to 110K, which is the most revenue we've made the entire round. And there's a 12% value market share and 9% in your unit market share. And for consumer segments, we also decided to stick with the same as we've had the previous round. For Nine, our production this time was 2,300K. Our advertising spend was 1,350K, allocating all our resources to high earners, similar to the last round, with merchandising and commercial focusing on the specialized mass and department stores. For Nice, we decided to produce 4,200K, and our advertising spend for this was 1,140K, focusing on medium income. For merchandising, we focus on mass merch and department stores, and for commercial, we focus on mass merch and specialized mass. For Night, our production value was 1,000K. Our advertising spend for this was 3,876K. Now, if you notice, it's almost double the rest of our other brands because of the lower awareness levels at this point. And we focus on affluent families. For merchandising, we focus on specialized mass and department stores, and the same that goes for commercial. So the unit price for Night and Nine this time increased, and this was based off our semantic scales to make sure that we were also adapting as our consumers are adapting. And the unit price for Nice was decreased. Our budget increased, so we were able to allocate more money into advertising for all of our brands, especially allocating towards Night since that one has the lowest awareness level. And the production unit for Night is significantly lower to the rest due to the excess units we had from period 7. So this is the impact of our second strategy. As you can see, compared to our first strategy impact, we are sloping up instead of down this time. And this is when we really started to understand MarkStrat and understand what we were doing and focusing more on market shares, and that we were actually pleasing our consumers and not just looking at revenues, because revenues wasn't really helping us. And as you can see, this is present in our overall market share as it has steadily gone up almost to the point where we first started, which is a lot of progress.
So now we're going to talk about Nirvana's future. So we've put together a little SWOT analysis. I believe that a strength was our teamwork, our passion for learning, the creativity, the ability to adapt. That's what helped us succeed. There were moments when we were trying to give up, but I think the competitive nature of our team just really helped us push through and figure out what was really going wrong. And I believe that's a huge strength of ours. When it comes to the weakness, I would say lack of knowledge in the beginning of the MarkStrat world. None of us have ever done this sort of simulation / activity. We didn't know what resources were out there. And we were very conservative with our strategy to the point where we didn't even really understand how much money we had to spend. And so once we figured that out, we were able to, like as Crystal had mentioned, succeed better in SPI and market share. When it comes to the opportunity section, new trite market was a huge opportunity. We had planned to at least launch it by period 8. However, we just had not been able to build up enough revenue to be able to launch the product, even with the loan that we did take out. So we believe that a potential opportunity would be for Nirvana to continue into the new trite market, at least in period 9, and then excel really in 10. And when it comes to the threat, we believe that our classmates and our competitors were aiming for some of the similar target segments. We were not going for like the larger ones, such as like singles and low income were the potential growth factors in the clinite market. And in new trite, it was the elders group. So we were going to target the smaller segments and really get in there sooner before their market segment was going to decrease. So besides that, another threat were the changing attitudes and perspectives, preferences for our customers. Sometimes they valued packaging over pleasure, and sometimes they cared more about the efficacy. And it was just hard to sometimes calculate all of that, but we figured out a way to do that and ended up being very successful. We ended up, when we started the game, we were about in 3rd place, 2nd place, and we dropped down to about 5th place, and then we got back up to about like a 3rd, 4th place. And I think the future of Nirvana comes down to these 3 things: strategies, budget, and targeting. If we use the industry benchmarking tool a little better to understand what our competitors were doing, we could understand how they are achieving their market share. We really didn't understand the value of underproducing at one point. We were just trying to not have any inventory left over, but we didn't understand how that meant that our market share might decrease if our product isn't on the shelves out there. Another thing was budget. We were, as Crystal had mentioned, very conservative with our budget. And once we got that loan, we were trying to be more aggressive in advertising, making sure that our product was well known amongst the consumer segments, and that really helped us. And then targeting wise, we would have liked to use the conjoint analysis tool and the semantic skills a little bit better. We were using the semantic skills throughout the present, throughout the periods, but conjoint analysis was something that we believe we didn't understand how to use it properly until the very end. And that could have helped us better understand our target audiences and how they really differ in terms of preferences and what their ideal values are. So thank you for watching. Thank you for a great module. We learned a lot, and we had a great time. It was very stressful. I had dreams about this a little too much, but we're at the point where we understand it, and we could probably win if we did it again. But yeah, thank you, Professor. Bye-bye.
And it's specialized for
I'm sorry. You can't do that. I'm thirsty. Just go from where
I'm just gonna start with a
Yeah,
9, okay? For 9, we produce.
Okay. I'm just gonna zone out. Look at the numbers, they're boring. Don't laugh.
Okay.
Just try.
Tier 3, 9. Half. Boring.
Boring.
MarkStrat,
MarkStrat.
hurt,
Boring.
Trauma. Okay.
The brand awareness of each consumer segment has been brought down by around 4% respectively. Price of $9 to $25.99 dollar.
You looked at me, I looked at you, and I was like, God damn.
Dude, I shouldn't look at you. I'm just
Don't look at me. You can close it. You can close that window.
Sorry.
You know what? You got mad at me for drinking. Elsie drank some water. You didn't say.
She didn't reach like this. Like, look at me. You're going. We decided to stick with the same consumer segments. For the unit, I kind of want to do that again.
Why?
Is it fine?
Yeah, I thought it was good, right?
Oh, okay.